Thanks everyone so much for joining us tonight. This is the September edition of the Surplus and Recycling Town Hall. And we appreciate you joining us this evening and taking the time out of your day. Tonight we're going to be discussing the surplus store updates and giving you a quick glimpse into our storied history. Um, at the surplus store, our mission is to manage MSU's waste as a resource through an integrated system of reuse, recycling, collaboration, and education. The surplus store is an amazing asset to the university and to the local community, as well as to those who live far away now with online shopping options. Um, this enables the community to practice reuse. The items for sale in the surplus store, as probably most of you know, have been donated by departments on campus or by members of the Spartan community. However, everyone and anyone is welcome to shop at the surplus store. Here we practice the principle of highest and best use. This urges us to use our resources in a way that maximizes their value and the energy that went into creating those items. So from this perspective, we emphasize reduction of waste above reuse, and we prioritize reuse above recycling. So reuse is a really important piece to shrinking that landfill footprint that you probably want to do, just like a lot of us. Our Spartan Upcycle department is a great example of a creative reuse. So we will receive items in to the surplus store or through our recycling bins that are in okay condition. For instance, maybe some books we get, old dictionaries or old anatomy books that would be out of date that don't have much value, but we're able to transform those objects into new things and upcycle that into something with a higher value. So we've taken, stacks of pallets. We get a lot of those, a lot of shipments coming into campus. So we've had pallets converted into benches, little book nooks, other furniture. And we've also turned just the average glass bottle into a light or even decor for a big event like a wedding, things like that. So the highest and best use principle is, like I said, is an important one to live by if you're interested in, moving towards a more zero waste lifestyle and shrinking that landfill footprint of ours. In the 2012 book Garbology by Edward Humes, he talks about this 102-ton legacy of trash that we leave behind. The average American in their lifetime generates 102 tons of trash. And that is approximately the weight of 18 African elephants, which is the largest animal that walks on Earth. So it's a huge amount. It's difficult to fathom that. To break it down, it breaks down to roughly 7 pounds of waste generated by the average American every single day. And this calculation is based on the solid waste data that was analyzed by Columbia University with the journal Biocycle. So in 2008, that's where the data comes from. And so we can imagine, the guess would be that we've increased that number to today. But that 7 pounds per day and that 102-ton legacy, that only accounts for the trash that we as individuals toss in the bin, at home. It doesn't account for any of the upstream activities like transportation, production, packaging, that sort of thing. So when we factor that data in, the numbers become even more staggering. Humes concludes in Garbology that America, with just 5% of the population in the world, generates approximately 25% of the world's waste. So we don't have to do that as individuals, leave behind that 102-ton legacy. Definitely systemic change is necessary. However, we do have an ability to make some changes as individuals. And so the more that we choose to reduce our consumption, to reuse our items and our materials, and to recycle those things that we can't omit or reduce or reuse, then we're able to decrease that hopefully cut back a few African elephants from our landfill footprint, if you will. So we're here as Surplus and Recycling to help you on that journey of, as you move towards the zero waste lifestyle. And with that, we'd just like to allow the panelists to introduce themselves tonight. James, you may be muted, so go ahead and unmute.
Thank you, Katie. Boy, it wasn't that long ago when 5 pounds was the average, and I didn't realize it went up to 7. That's pretty amazing. Welcome, fellow Surplustomers. Thank you for joining us this evening. We have missed seeing your faces, but we certainly do appreciate your continued support over the past few months. Thank you for that. One question I'm going to address now is, when are we going to open? Unfortunately, we do not have that answer. MSU's main focus and goal right now is to make sure that the students are back onto campus and safely. So until that happens, we don't have a date in the near future. However, while the actual brick and mortar store is still closed, we have an ever expanding selection of online items for you to browse through. We add between 500 to 1,000 new items each week to the Surplus website, msusurplusstore.com, which is a nice plug there. And if there's an item that you're looking for but you don't see, just give us a call. Maybe we have it in stock and just haven't listed it yet, or it'll help just keep an eye out for you. When you purchase an item online, you can choose to have it shipped to you or use the new curbside pickup option. Curbside pickup is currently available Monday through Friday from 8 to 3. There is a minimum of 2 hours from the time you purchase the item until it can be picked up. This just gives us time to fill the order and have it ready for you when you arrive, so we can make it a smooth and safe transaction for you. When you check out online, you'll select a date and time to pick up your items at the Surplus store. And then when you arrive, just give us a call and we'll bring the items to your car, and we will go into a little bit more detail on the curbside pickup later. But I do want to mention, like a lot of us lately, our staff has been asked to do things different than we're used to. And I'd like to personally thank our staff for rising up to the challenge and going above and beyond to provide you with a positive shopping experience. Though things look different, we're still going to continue to deliver that Spartan experience that you're used to. I would also like to thank you for shopping with us. And when you choose to reuse and shop through us, I just want to remind you that it's good for the environment, your pocketbook, and the overall MSU community. We do look forward to seeing you curbside. Until then, stay safe and go green.
Thank you, James, for that summary of updates. Would you like to let people know how long you've been with Surplus? It's been a long time, huh?
Yes, I was just supposed to introduce myself. James Ives, the Surplus Store Manager. Sorry. I've been with Surplus and Recycling for a little over 20 years, and through that time, I've done multiple different tasks with the unit, and that's where I am now.
So, hi, I'm Aaron Cookingham. I've worked at the Surplus store for the past 15 years. Actually started out selling used toner on eBay was my first job here at the Surplus store. And that's one of the things that I love about the Surplus store is the uniqueness and diversity of items that we deal with. And every day at work is a new experience, and it's something I enjoy greatly. So thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Sarah Heckerman. I've been with Surplus and Recycling for 15 years now. I started as a part-time cashier, worked for several years in the sales, on the sales floor, moved over to administration, worked over there for a while, and now I am back in sales, running the online sales department and also managing the Spartan Upcycle.
Hi, everyone. I'm Keane Beach. I'm the Human Resources Coordinator at the Surplus Store Recycling Center. I've been in the department just 9 years now. One of the things that I like best about my job is the wide variety of work experience that we have available, especially to student employees. And I really enjoy seeing them find a role that fits their interests, since we have so many different roles, and their future plans, at the same time seeing their contributions of their energy and their curiosity that benefits our department. So it's a great place to work.
And my name is Katie Deska. I'm the education coordinator and one of the newest members of the staff at Surplus and Recycling. My role is to connect you with the tips that you need and the reasons why you would like to maybe move towards a zero waste lifestyle. Also, hopefully here to answer your questions or to connect you with somebody who has that info and can answer your questions for you. So before we get going, I just want to take care of a couple housekeeping items. We are broadcasting on Facebook Live and also through Zoom. So if you're participating on Zoom, you've got a toolbar at the bottom there, and you will be able to receive chats by us. We'll send you a few links during the presentation that you might want to check out later. And you'll also want to notice that Q&A button at the bottom. That will be what you'll click on if you want to submit a question during our question and answer period. For those of you watching on Facebook Live, thanks a lot for joining us. And you can just drop your questions in the comments section, and then Keen and Sarah will relay those live, and we can get those answered. One more thing is that we will be showing some slides here in a second. And so you would be able to adjust your view of the slide or the speaker's face by just drawing or dragging that invisible line between the two to the left or the right to your preference. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and Aaron's going to get us started. So just give me a moment here. Okay, we should be looking good. Nope, looks like I shared the wrong screen. Hang on a minute. Sorry, everyone. There we go. And we should be good now. Aaron?
So thank you everyone for attending. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties here.
No problem.
So, there we go. So thank you again for everyone for attending. We're going to do a quick overview of what we'll be covering in today's presentation. We're first going to look at some of the history of the MSU Surplus Store and what we actually do here at the store, our mission and goals, with what we're hoping to accomplish. We'll also look at some of the uniqueness and diversity of items that we sell at the store. We'll then go over some of the changes and updates that we're currently experiencing due to the current conditions. And then we'll look at some of the new upcoming things that we're looking to announce and improvements in some of our business functions. We'll do a quick little Q&A session, hopefully to be able to answer any of your questions. And then at the end, we have a big thank you with an online coupon code that you'll be able to use here at the Surplus Store. So the Surplus Store has a long history dating back to the late 1800s. The first mention of the Surplus Store was actually found in 1896 at the Board of Governors meeting notes, where two faculty members asked for permission to sell decommissioned surplus agricultural equipment. The Surplus Store, then known as Salvage, primarily dealt with lumber and bricks from the great number of construction projects that happened during early campus expansion. Salvage at that time was located on Farm Lane near where the current MSU FCU credit union location is currently located. Modern day Surplus, then known as the MSU Salvage Yard, started after World War II in the late 1950s, again with a focus on material recovery. Eventually, the yard migrated to a new location off of South Harrison Road, where the current Amtrak Transportation Center is located. Throughout the 1960s and 70s, the Salvage Yard conducted daily sales and expanded its selection of products, selling new commodities such as furniture and large bike auctions. during that period. In 1988, the MSU Recycling was formally created by the Board of Education. It did not combine the operations between the two, but the businesses were located next to each other on South Harrison Road near the salvage yard where it was previously located. Pictured here is Fred Klecki, who oversaw the salvage yard for over 30 years in his 40 years at Michigan State University, and had a great influence on modern day MSU surplus. The present day MSU Surplus Store and Recycling Center was actually a new facility built in 2009. The 74,000 foot facility was one of the first facilities at higher educational institutions that combined recycling and reuse operations in the same facility. It's allowed us to much better integrate efforts of landfill diversion through highest and best use with reuse and recycling, in addition to handling MSU's waste. The building earned the second highest LEED Gold certification through its development and construction, including the building included solar panels, rain gardens, recycled glass in its construction materials. And the building was actually funded completely through revenue generated from the sale of surplus goods and recycling commodities. The surplus store's primary mission obviously is dedicated to reuse. That fits into the zero waste hierarchy that we are working towards on the MSU campus. Because of the advantage of handling all materials, we have the opportunity to move through the process of trying to divert materials from the landfill. Overall, we handle around 13 million pounds annually at the facility, and the surplus store diverts nearly 2.9 million pounds of materials through reuse. The surplus store also provides revenue back to MSU campus departments through its recycling and surplus efforts, and that's something we've done every year in greater and greater use. One of the most unique parts of the surplus store is the diversity of items that we sell. The surplus store sells over 165,000 products annually, which equates to almost 600 items a day that we sell. We handle everything from aardvark skeletons to Zambonis and everything in between. If you think of MSU as a small city, we have our own power plant, we have our own telecom company, we're soon to have our own hospital. We get a little bit of everything. We currently have over 200 different items of categories that we have and offer for sale at the surplus store. The wide variety of products include everything from antiques and collectibles to athletic apparel, audiovisual equipment, books and media. The MSU library has one of the world's largest academic comic book collections, so we receive a great number of comic books. Computer and IT equipment, which we process and ensure data integrity for the MSU campus. MSU obviously has a large farm and garden presence, and so we process those materials. We also partner with a number of different other departments who produce food and syrup, tea, honey, and with the MSU Meat Lab as well. Furniture and household items are obviously a very common item for us to have. We also deal with industrial lab equipment, office supplies, and then, as Sarah mentioned, heading up the Spartan Upcycle project, where we reuse a lot of the goods that we're able to recover from recycling and reuse projects. We also sell the great number of vehicles that the university uses. So a lot of this has changed due to COVID-19. The store closed starting in March of 2020. In-person shopping was suspended at that time, and we actually closed our store entirely. We were able to reopen for online sales in May of 2020. This caused quite a bit of change in how our staff was having to do their jobs. Most of our staff is now working very differently than they did before. And as James mentioned, they've definitely risen to the challenge. We also unfortunately had to discontinue our MSU community reuse program during that time as well. So as I mentioned, the surplus store has shifted to selling online exclusively, but we've obviously tried to improve that experience and make it easier and better for you, the customer. So we've added a new curbside pickup program for those larger items that are not shippable. This allows customers to purchase furniture for their home or office and then pick it up here at the store. We do still have thousands of products that are available for shipping, and they'll be able to be delivered directly to your doorstep. And you can easily shop online from your home, your office, or anywhere. Our online selection is growing all the time. MSUsurplusstore.com currently has over 5,000 active products, and it's something that we've been doing for over 20 years, selling online. We also sell on Amazon.com and eBay.com. Since we've reopened to selling online in June, we've added over 6,000 additional items to the site for sale, and we're averaging near 500 to 1,000 new listings per week. And so you can see new things all the time. Because of that, that's definitely one of the good ways to keep track of everything, because it changes so frequently in the number of items that we do and the number of items that we sell. So on our MSU Surplus Store website, there's a collection titled New Listings. That'll be the best way for you to see new listings that pop up, and that updates as soon as they're listed. If you have a specific product that you're looking for in a collection that you're interested in, you can navigate to that collection, say comic books, if you're just interested in comic books. And then you'll just want to change the sort to date, new to old, and that'll show all the newest listings. We're adding new items all the time, and we're also expanding the number of categories and collections that we're listing online. We've added a link to a video that goes over this whole process in chat, so you can see that. At this time, we'll take a little break and actually have some poll questions for you to answer.
All right, so we just wanted to get a better sense of who our surplus customers are. So we're just going to launch this poll here for those participating on Zoom. If you would, join us, that would be awesome. I'm going to launch this poll. We have 3 questions. The first question is, what best describes your most common interaction with the MSU Surplus Store and Recycling Center? And then also, what is the primary reason you shop at the MSU Surplus Store? And lastly, have you shopped with us and have you utilized the curbside pickup specifically while the brick and mortar store has been closed? Just gonna give it a minute. I see the votes coming in right now. Thank you all for participating. Another second here. Okay, excellent. So we're going to end the polling and let me share the results with you. Okay, so what best describes your most common interaction with us? Shopping in store. That's the majority of folks at 55%, followed by 18% at the drop-off center doing the recycling, and then it's split between shopping online and other. And then same with community reuse. That's great. So we probably have some overlap there, and I'm sure from folks. What is the primary reason you shop at the surplus store? So looks like we've got majority support reuse and keep items out of the landfill. All right, like to see that one. We've also got support for our selection of items, the price, and affiliation with MSU. And lastly, majority of people have not used the curbside pickup yet, but now that you're going to learn a little bit more about it, hopefully you'll feel comfortable doing that if you so choose. But it looks like at least one person has used the curbside pickup. So thank you all so much. I'm going to stop sharing these results and we'll get back to it. All right. James, take it away.
Well, hopefully we can change those numbers a little bit and get you in for our curbside pickup. This just allows you to, to still shop with us and be able to purchase larger items, get them quickly. For example, if you have to have that grand piano and you just have a 1985 Chevette and don't feel comfortable putting it on top, well, that's going to be for deliveries. um, if you just order by 1 p.m., that still will give you time to pick up your items the same day based on availability. You can shop online like you would any other normal store. During the checkout, select the pickup in-store option. It'll give you the option to pick the date and time, add your name and contact information, or who will be picking up the item. And at that time, I did say the 2-hour window just does help us give us time to prepare the order, make sure it's just ready for you when you get here, so it is just a safe and quick pickup for you. And when you do arrive, there's a number on the sign in the parking spots, and just give us a call. Give us your name and the items that you're picking up. A lot of people give the order number. That really doesn't help us out. Just your name, and Jones is here to pick up a monitor, and that is good for us. And we do occasionally have issues with the phones. We try not to let that happen, but it just does. So if we can't hear you, someone will be out there shortly to greet you. We have started selling vehicles again. Currently, MSU, we sell over 100 vehicles a year, all different types: passenger cars, minivans, trucks, utility vehicles, hybrids, you name it. We did change the way we do the process a little bit. Our auctions now are all online. They start on Tuesdays and go to Thursdays. We are limiting the amount of test drives to the high bidder. If the high bidder comes here and hasn't looked at the vehicle yet, it gives them the opportunity to inspect it. However, you're encouraged to inspect it before you bid on it. You just can't test drive it. But the high bidder can, and if they decide at that time they do not want it, that's fine. We understand. We'll move on to the next high bidder. And just keep checking, because we do have new vehicles every week, usually every week. Just to touch on a little bit what was going to be happening here. When you shopping from home improvements, we're continually trying to improve our website just to make it easier for you to maneuver, navigate. We're just continually trying to do that. As Aaron was saying, we are listing more items every day, and we're just going to continue to do so as long as we can. Our hours, we're going to be expanding our hours. We're going to extend later pickup hours, whether it's 1 or 2 nights a week. Stay tuned for more details there. And we're going to add more curbside pickup time slots for you. And one thing I'm pretty excited about, wish list. We're going to incorporate that into our website too. If there's something you're looking for, it'll give you the opportunity to add your information, the items that you're looking for, and we'll keep it on record for 60 days. And in that time, if you found it someplace else, that's fine. But if you haven't, after 60 days, you can put your name in again and stay on the list. For those of you who remember, we used to have a free pile. That is something we also stopped doing, but we are going to get that up and running again. It's a great place to find free materials. If we can't sell it or recycle it, it's just another way for us to divert it and find new homes. And it's also a great way to save money. As Aaron mentioned too, that the community reuse days, for obvious reasons, we had to stop doing that. We are in a position where we're getting closer to opening that back up again. There will be some minor adjustments to what we accept, but that'll be just to limit the risks and exposure for the customers and our staff. Deliveries is going to be an option as well. MSU departments that are returned to campus, they will have that option. Basically, if it's, if it's there'll be a fee, but based on what it is and where it's got to go. But usually that's pretty minor. Local deliveries for larger items. This is what I was talking about, the piano being on top of the Chevette. There'll be probably a 15-mile radius around campus. We'll be able to do that. There will also be a fee, but then again, that'll be based on the items that we're delivering and where they have to go. But it'll just be a way to just get it to your driveway or to your doorstop. Just some ways to keep up with us here. Well, if you want to keep up with the sales updates, you can sign up on msusurplusstore.com, which you can find on the bottom of any page on our website or Facebook. You can get the latest information, photos, product updates, prices. You can ask questions. We'll try to be very quick in responding, or you can join a private group even for more content. Or there's the old email, surplus@msu.edu. Yes, that is 2 S's, surplus@msu.edu. Or the old-fashioned way, give us a call, 355-1723. All right, Katie, we're going to be talking about the Waste Warriors. Waste Warriors, for those you don't know, used to be the Eco Reps. Katie?
Yep, thanks, James. So the Waste Warrior program is designed for faculty and staff, and this program was launched last year, and it's basically our way of trying to bring our mission to the departments and offices right on campus. If you are interested as a faculty or staff member, signing up as a Waste Warrior would give you a direct line of communication into the Surplus Store Recycling Center, so you can easily ask us questions and get assistance with things that you would need specific to your department or your office. You'd also receive a monthly newsletter and invitations to virtual events, workshops, and classes, as well as potentially that extra assistance for, like I said, those unique challenges that departments have based on what it is that they are handling on a regular basis. So we've decided to launch the Waste Warrior program because we found that there's, while we're doing a great job diverting, about average of 50% in an average year gets kept out of the landfill from our general building waste. But we still find that approximately 70% of the material that shows up in the trash from the general building waste could have been diverted through recycling, reuse, or composting, should that individual have the knowledge of it and access to that method of diversion. So we're trying to increase our education, and so Waste Warriors are sort of you could almost say boots on the ground, trying to inform other colleagues of what they know related to surplus and recycling, answer those questions, be a little bit of an intermediary for us, and also just joining in with us to show your support for our program. We've always relied on the passion of staff and faculty to make these changes on campus, all the way back from the early days of surplus up through when the recycling program first got started in the late 80s. So we trust that campus definitely still has these dedicated folks on around, and we would just like you to sign up with us so that we can keep in contact with you. So if you're interested, go to our website, our recycling page, msurecycling.com, and there's a tab for Waste Warriors there, and then you would just fill out a quick form. Otherwise, just drop me a note. My email is on that slide there. It's deska, K-A-T, @msu.edu. All right, so we are working to pivot more of our programming, because we had designed it to be in person, but we are working to change that to more virtual options. So a few things that we're hoping to offer here shortly, maybe in the next few months or 6 months, would be a multi-session primer on managing waste as a resource, and also a bucket club, where you would be able to, as a Waste Warrior, bring your food waste into our facility and have that vermicomposted, so composted through worms on site at the new hoop house that we just built this very summer recently. We then would, as we do now, sell that vermicompost in the surplus store. So that would be a great closed loop system. So the program's not operational yet. We do have a small pilot going with some staff, and so we hope to offer that in the future. So stay tuned for that. And then also another thing we're planning on doing is offering some lunchtime chats where you'd be able to just sign in for a short discussion with our staff and ask any questions that you might have. So thank you so much. Oops, I'm sorry. I just switched the slides without even meaning to. So I'm going to go back to that. We're going to move into our question and answer period. So if you are on Zoom, just go ahead and use that Q&A feature at the bottom of the bar, and then type your question and hit send. And for those of you on Facebook, just enter it in the comments, and Keen and Sarah will relay those to James and Aaron live here. Let's see, Keen and Sarah, do we have any questions coming in?
Sure, we have one here. Are we allowed to test items before we purchase them?
Typically, no. Testing is something, depending on the item. It's hard for us to test certain things because we don't have the knowledge of the items to whether or not they're properly working. We'll test things like microwaves and fridges. Basically, does it heat up? Does it get cold? And we'll label it as such. We're trying to be better in our descriptions to letting people know that. However, IT and computer equipment, that is tested, and it will also say it in the listings. But as far as testing them physically, unfortunately, no. That's not something we can do at this time.
If you do have something that you know about a product, because in a lot of cases, like James mentioned, we don't have specific knowledge of certain types of items, you can always email us or call us and give us specific instructions in terms of what you would like tested, how we can test the item. Or also you can ask us for additional photos or more information on a product. Go ahead and email us, give us a call, send us a chat on Facebook. Just get a hold of us and hopefully we can let you know and give you more information about the product that's listed online.
Thank you, guys. Another question here from Anna. Do you have plans to sell in lots or bundles or dozens or whichever which way for items such as linens, clothing, coffee mugs, household items, etc.?
Sure. It just all depends on what comes in and when it comes in and how it comes in. If we did get in a lot of blankets or sheets, definitely we can do bundles. It would be easier for us to do that than selling them one at a time, but we would also have that option as well. Good question.
And that's also one of the areas that we're expanding in more and more recently. So you'll start to see some of more of those smaller household items that we offered for sale in our store normally that weren't traditionally on our online site. So stay tuned because we're hopefully adding more and more of those products to the site as we go along.
We do have another question that came in here. This one's from Steve. During the curbside shopping, since you're not open, are you offering returns on items that we purchase?
Returns are tricky. All sales are final as is, where is. However, when you show up, we understand, especially with furniture, chairs, it's difficult to buy things without seeing them. But again, we're trying to list even the bad, if not more so the bad on the items, and try to point them out as well. But if you were to show up and say, whoo, this chair is not what I expected, it's bad, I don't want it, we'll refund your order right there on the spot. We just, if you leave with it, take it home, decide it won't fit or you don't like it, then that's where we're not going to be able to return your items. But that's another good question. But if it was, I'll just leave it at that.
One of the best things you could do, as James mentioned too, is all of our products on our website, especially furniture, stuff like that, will have dimensions. So definitely check to make sure it'll fit in your vehicle, and then it'll fit in your home or office. Check your doors, are you going to be able to actually get it into your home or office? And then if you have any other questions in terms of the item being able to be disassembled, again, give us a call and we can look at the item and give you more information on that.
Thank you, guys. I have a question here from Riley. With the move to full online sales, what has been the most purchased item?
The most purchased item, the most searched for item has been desks. I think with everyone working from home, they're tired of sitting on the couch or working from their dining room chairs. They just need to set up basically a home office, probably for several people in a household. I would say desks and chair. Aaron, would you agree?
Definitely those furniture items, desks, chairs, tables are definitely one of the ones that we definitely can't almost seem to keep up with. And again, we're listing new items all the time. So if you come to our site and you don't see it, that definitely doesn't mean we don't have it and won't have it in the future. So keep checking back.
And that also depends on the week. I mean, they just posted, that we had bacon, and phew, bacon just flew out the door. So.
All right, another question here from Marge. Do you have a computer expert who can help decide which computer tower would work best for someone?
Marge, we have a couple of experts on staff. Yes. If you called and asked for Dave, Dave R., he would be the one to listen to you and find out what your needs are, because there are different options and different uses, and he can definitely steer you in the right direction for sure.
Another question here. Do we need to make an appointment to see the items that are outside?
No, not at all. The gates are open. Usually the exterior gate is open probably around 7:30. That closes at 4. The gate that goes into the customer pickup, that does close at 3. But yeah, I mean, just stop by. We're trying to make sure the items are labeled with prices. But if there's something you see outside, call the main line and ask about it. And, we'll do our best to get you the information.
We do have a question on Facebook here from our old friend Lisa. She wants to know, are you still accepting donations from the MSU community?
Sure, you can make that check out to. Yes, I believe it's still at the drop-off center, isn't that? I believe so. Katie, do you know?
Yes, sir.
And we appreciate that very much.
Very, very much. You can also do it online through I believe it's Aaron, were you going to say that? The details, go ahead.
I believe it's through the MSU fund and the endowment campaign for campus. You can select the MSU Surplus Store and Recycling Center to donate specifically to the center.
Is that on our website, Aaron?
If it's not, we'll get it on the website. And if Lisa was asking about goods and items, that's part of the Community Reuse Day project that hopefully we'll be announcing the details on that soon. So again, check back, and as soon as we have more information on that, we'll be announcing that, the resumption of that program.
I have a question here from Steve. This is probably more for Katie with the Waste Warriors, but wondering when our compost facility opens up, will we be offering tours of the worm farm and the vermicomposting?
In the future, certainly, yeah. We we will definitely add that hoop house into our tour, you know, when we're able to resume doing tours on campus. We're really excited to include that piece, because that means that we're going to, you know, be able to show the recycling side, the reuse side through surplus, and then here, you know, a huge piece of waste that we generate is through our food waste. So that will be a really cool thing for people to see, and it's all with the worms. And then it will be again sold in the surplus store. So it's a cool closed loop system once that's up and running. Yeah, and in normal situations, we will be accepting the food waste from campus cafeterias. Some of that's food waste, that is. So, yep, thanks for that.
Kind of another one for Katie here, if you don't mind. Sandra is wondering if there's a way to come and watch the trash be sorted when we do trash sorts.
Well, we don't currently do those for obvious reasons. But and we generally have only offered those for academic classes or faculty or staff. So Sandra, I'm not sure if you're faculty or staff, but we pretty much limit the waste sorts to the MSU community when we are doing them. However, we've tossed around the idea of maybe doing some kind of a you know, virtual DIY waste sort, where you could join and sort through your trash, you know, in a meeting format like this, and then we could go over the stuff that's in your trash that you accidentally tossed in that could have been diverted. So same thing, stay tuned. We put that sort of information up on our Facebook page and on the recycling webpage. Or, you know, just always check in with us on email. But yeah, it is a pretty cool thing to see, and appreciate your interest in that.
Yes, wouldn't you rather participate than watch? That's the fun stuff.
That's true. Get down and dirty in that. Yes, that's a lot of fun. Get that trash juice on your shoe.
All right, we have another question from Riley here, wondering what the extended hours and pickup times might be. Do we have any idea?
Thanks, Riley. We're looking at starting with potentially like a Wednesday evening where we'll be open until 6 or so. Then maybe down the line, eventually, maybe a weekend a month, a Saturday a month. We don't exactly know, but we will be incorporating extended hours for your convenience.
Currently, we're doing 8 to 3, and in the nearer future, I believe we'll be moving the 3 p.m. back to 3:30, and so we'll have an extra half hour to the current 8 to 3 pickup tables Monday through Friday.
Nothing else here on Facebook, Sarah, unless you have anything else on Zoom there.
I don't have any more questions here on Zoom unless someone wants to get their last question answered.
All right, looks like we're good to go then. James, you want to walk us through the coupon code?
Sure. Thanks again, folks, for joining us this evening. For participating, we're going to offer a 15% off your next online purchase. The code will be CERT Town Hall 0920. You will get sent a notification of that after this. We just, it's going to make sure you use it before October 31st. And there will be some usual restrictions. You can't use it towards a vehicle purchase, anything over 5,000, but there'll be some other limitations. But again, hopefully we'll get to see you here curbside, because we do miss your faces every day.
All right, thanks. Yeah, just a reminder that we did record the webinar and it'll be posted to our website. And you also get a follow-up email with this coupon code and a couple other links that we hope you find useful. Just a pitch for our upcoming town hall in October. We are going to have a guest with us. Our broker, Jill Brown with Metro Recycling, will join us to discuss selling our materials and how the markets have changed in response to COVID. So feel free to join us on that. It's always nice to have you here with us. Just like to say thanks again for taking the time out to join us, and I hope that we can see you all next time.